Carter Henderson coming in to replace Don Oberhelman. My name is Dylan Allen, John Z, Matthew Muren. Welcome into the Gallop.
Yeah, I mean, huge news, and something we knew what was coming. I mean, we knew Don was not going to be the director after last year, but to have a name, to have a face is good. We were able to see him at a press conference yesterday, and I mean, what are we thinking? What are the first thoughts on the press conference and on the new era for Cal Poly athletics?
Well, I think for one, it's, as you mentioned, it's nice to actually have the face of what we're going to have. We've been kind of in this weird limbo of, it's still technically Dawn until we find the new person. And, kind of got late in the summer, like, okay, like there should be an announcement coming at some point here. Then it's women's soccer, men's soccer, all the fall sports started up. We're like, okay, there's still nothing. And yeah, as you mentioned, it's nice to finally have something to kind of build on as we look forward to this new school year, new sports season.
Yeah, he comes in with a lot of experience. He started at Jacksonville University. Then he went to the University of Washington for 10 years. And then for the last 4 years, since 2021, he's been at Stanford. Most recently, he was deputy athletic director. So he has a lot of experience in athletics and in leadership, but he'll officially begin his role on October 13th. Oberhelman will continue to serve up until then. So we'll see starting on that day the new era of Cal Poly athletics.
And a lot of those roles have been in like external relations. Like I think this is the first major like all-encompassing athletics role that he's had. It's been very kind of PR based, and you were able to go to the press conference yesterday. And was there anything that he said that was gave you a little bit of hope of like how he's going to be, what his administration is going to be like, or did you get many answers?
Well, he didn't speak for too long. He spoke for about 10 minutes at most, but I think the biggest thing that he noted was he said it would be a disservice to the community and to the supporters of Cal Poly and to the student athletes as well if we're not competing for national championships, which we have been competing for national championships in some sports. Beach volleyball comes to mind first. Other than that, we're on the fringe for Big West, but that's the biggest thing, is that he wants to be competing for national championships.
Yeah, and I mean that's obviously the goal, and I feel like Cal Poly athletics has been going in the right direction recently. I mean, we've got some Big West regular season titles, a bunch of Big West championships. We look at cross country; they've been pretty dominant over the last, and baseball, doing really well in the NCAA. But I mean, hopefully this is going to carry on that progress that we've seen throughout our time here at Cal Poly, but. You never know, what a new person is going to come in and how they're going to change it, because something that Dylan mentioned when he went to the press conference is that there was no mention of NIL, and that's been a big topic within college athletics, and I mean it's a big topic for Cal Poly especially because there's a limited NIL like kind of bank to withdraw from. So I think that's going to be something that's going to be a big talking point for his stint as athletics director.
Yeah, and he kind of has a little bit of background in sort of money generating, money raising. I mean, because at Washington, he was kind of the director of marketing. And then when you're with a certain relationship, you're trying to build these relationship with businesses. So I wonder, kind of at Cal Poly, is he going to take sort of a little bit more like heavy-handed approach to like kind of guiding that, or is he just kind of pass it off and kind of let other people do it?
Yeah, it definitely will be interesting to see. And it's unclear when his first remarks will be about, the financial situations. Cal Poly will be losing almost $500,000 due to the back pay from the House versus NCAA settlement. So that will be for the next 10 years. They'll be losing almost $500,000. And then you have the revenue cap now for directly paying out athletes. So will Cal Poly as a school be generating up to that cap? Unlikely, because we're out of the Power Four, but I'm interested to see what his first remarks will be regarding NIL.
And do we want to talk about Oberhelman's departure from the program? He left and pledged $250,000 to the Madden Center, and that is not a small chunk of money. So there's obviously some commitment still to the program, and we know under his watch, swim and dive got cut. I mean, how are we feeling just about Oberhelman's, tenure as a whole? He was here for however many years, and he did a lot of great things, and stuff went okay, stuff went bad, stuff went good under his tenure. So I mean, just with him gone, how are we looking back on that era?
I mean, I feel like it was when you think of the Oberhelman, you think of, I mean, most recently cutting, swim, and dive, but overall our sports have done very, very well over the last couple of years. I mean, you look at baseball and how well they've done, not just this last year, but over the last 10 years. You look at beach volleyball, you look at men's soccer, who won the regular season title last year, women's soccer as well on the rise under Bernardo Silva, men's basketball carrying a lot of momentum into the season.
And, a big part of Don's legacy here at Cal Poly was a lot of the facility developments that we've had. Ronca Tennis Center, Baggett Stadium, the new beach volleyball facility as well. Just a lot of great, progress in making Cal Poly sports, play in a better spot and, be a good place and a hard place for, other visiting teams to come and play. And I think that's something that I personally hope that Henderson carries on, and we want to see more facility developments and, continue on with the Madden Center, because that is also a big project that started under Oberhelman, but, we're still trying to get across the finish line.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite sports moments from last year was, I think it was the UC Irvine series, and we basically like a plea was made to like pack Baggett Stadium, and those bleachers were full, let me tell you, and that was such a great environment to be in. And even I know you didn't necessarily mention it, but the clubhouse for baseball too is so nice. It's such a nice like facility for like athletes and then for their families and stuff to visit. I think the donors are there too during the games. Like it's just such a nice facility, and we hope that the John Madden Center is the same.
Yeah, Ronca Tennis Center is a fantastic spot to watch a tennis game. I mean, you go up there and you sit from that top pavilion, and it's just, you get a little sunbathing in. It's a great place to just post up and watch a tennis game. But, to your point, John, the Madden Football Center Oberhelman is hoping that brings in a lot of recruits that are in the next couple of years. I mean, that's going to be a place where it's now combining the locker room and the field for the football team. So it's going to have a nutrition center and just a really nice new renovated locker room.
And it sucks that Oberhelman isn't going to be able to be here, as athletics director, to see that come to fruition. But he reached, he and his wife, I think, reached 55, and that was where they were trying to cut things off, and then get into retirement, because I mean that's the end goal for a lot of. For me especially, I mean, if I'm retired at 55, I'm happy. Like, let's be real. But I think having that as something that's on the horizon, and something we can show recruits and Cal Poly can really use to bring in more talent is going to be a big asset.
Yeah, and then he made the Oberhelman just before, or I guess just after he retired, made a $250,000 donation to the center. So that's underway, and I'm unsure when it will be done, but it should be in the next, I believe, year or so.
I think it's supposed to be done winter quarter.
I think early 2026 was the estimated date.
Of course, estimated timelines mean everything when it comes to construction.
We've had some pushback over these last few years, but I mean, being able to I walk past it, bike past it, and see the progress. Coming up from just some rebar and some concrete into something that looks more like a building.
It actually looks like a building. Like there's actual like walls and stuff. Like it actually makes sense. And I think to kind of understand, like we can show recruits now, like, oh, like this is what Madden Center is supposed to look like. This is like all these renders. But when it's actually like built, like that means like a lot more than just showing renders to potential athletes.
Yeah, it's a different feeling to actually walk through a facility and be like, oh, this is where I'm going to be sitting. I can sit there. I can do homework. I can, this is where I do my nutrition, get my food. That's a lot different than being like just looking through a screen and not really having any frame of reference.
The pavilion was done on the other side just last year. So now now both sides are being fully renovated. Spanos is looking really nice. So Oberhelman's done a lot of work in his tenure.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to how Henderson, continues that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Mustang News put out the report that it was basically his entire salary that he donated, like for this past school year, basically to the Madden Center. And yeah, kind of touch on that. It seems like a lot of Cal Poly sports, like even ones that had been kind of down in the dumps, so to say, like they've been on the rise in large part because of the coaches that Don Oberhelman and the school have hired in the past 3 years just alone.
No, absolutely. I mean, to name a few, we had Bernardo Silva coming in, we had Ogie Kennedy, and those are both the soccer programs, and those both are programs that have seen, a great success in kind of the new eras. But yeah, Don had, I think he had 15 years, 14 as athletics director. I mean, I think that you could say he left a lot of programs better than he found them.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. And even the ones that aren't necessarily as good as they were when he took over are on the right track to become better than what they were. Like basketball, like I have the utmost hopes for basketball and Mike DeGeorge and his system and all that. And baseball obviously has been a mainstay, and it's remained a mainstay. It's remained top of the. Honestly, baseball might be one of the better programs, if not the best program in Cal Poly sports, and like he's been able to allowed them to keep that success going.
I mean, yeah, in terms of the history of baseball and also the success that it's traditionally had. I mean, you even see a product like Brian Wu doing really well in the MLB, and that's great for Cal Poly PR on a bigger level, saying okay, there's the production of really great baseball players here. So I would say definitely, the programs that see success have seen some great success, and you just hope that under Henderson that's gonna carry on, but we don't know how that's gonna shape out until he makes some decisions and. This season really gets kicked off.
Yeah, to bring it back to Henderson and just a timeline of the events that happened. So Oberhelman retired in June. He announced his retirement. This was during the middle of the swim and dive fundraising, their efforts to reinstate their program. They were asked to raise $15 million by June 15th. Oberhelman retired days before that deadline. And then in the coming months, he was still serving as the athletic director, but they were actively looking for a new replacement. And just 2 days ago, the press release was announced that a new athletic director would be announced, and then Thursday morning it came.
Yeah, I mean, it was super short notice. Like we didn't know that was coming until it literally happened, and so I feel like we all thought there was going to be a little bit more like fanfare before the athletics announcement. But I mean, you're bringing in as someone who is coming from a really high level program in Stanford. Obviously you're kind of at a mid-level management position, but what is, I feel like his trajectory is Cal Poly is, a great place to be that head guy because it gives you avenues to maybe take over a Power 4 school in the future. But I just, I wonder how many years he's going to want to commit here in the Central Coast.
Yeah, and I think to your point, if he wants to go onto that Power 4 type, school, like he's going to have to show why he deserves it here at Cal Poly, which is ultimately would be good for the health of Cal Poly athletics and, now and into the future, because if you want, this job is for someone who's hungry. It's either because you're hungry and you want to move up in the world, or you just want to sit in the mid-level tier, whatever, and just coast on a paycheck for, 30 years, whatever, right? But when it comes to someone like Carter Henderson, when I look at where, like, his path, like, it seems like he wants to take, like, that big, like, head of athletic department step at, like, an ACC or an SEC school. And so it just kind of gives me a little hope that, like, there'll be some fresh ideas and some new kind of spark that hopefully Cal Poly athletics can take advantage of.
I was just going to say my next thought is he's continuously risen in all the schools that he's been at. At the University of Washington, he served at various leadership roles, but he was climbing the ranks there. And then at Stanford as well, he didn't just serve as the deputy athletics director. He started a little bit lower than that and then went above, and he kept rising the ranks. So now the athletic director of Cal Poly makes sense.
No, 100%. I think this is a good step for him, and I hope a good step for Cal Poly as well. I mean, just because it is in many ways a new era of college sports. That's what we've been talking about for so much over the last few years. And Oberhelman, was a big part of that previous era. And then it seemed like kind of just we were coasting a little bit in these last few years, not really having a bunch of NIL money, and some programs kind of staying on that good trajectory, but still kind of stagnating a little bit. So I'm excited to see if there's any fundraising that happens, because as you mentioned, he has a background in raising money, and I think that's going to be a big part of the future of Cal Poly sports, is trying to just get funding to get projects done, improve facilities, and bring in talent.
Yeah, another thing that he mentioned at the press conference was that he played basketball growing up, and a lot of the values that he has in his leadership roles come from him playing basketball. He actually was he has a bachelor's in journalism from the University of Florida, graduated in 2004. So it's kind of interesting to see a journalism major now as the Cal Poly athletic director. But back to my point, he played basketball, and he says during the press conference, which was very short, he said a lot of what he learned about being a teammate, being a leader, came from him playing basketball.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that Coach Lice preached to me, and I don't know about you guys, but growing up, there's a lot of life lessons to be learned in sports, so it kind of makes sense,
yeah.
Right? And it is true. There are a lot of life lessons to be gathered from sports. So I'm interested to see how he applies them, though, because it's kind of interesting, because you're okay. They were taught to you. Those lessons were taught to you in these early years. How are you going to be able to pass that down, or how are you going to be able to apply them to sports again? It's kind of a weird feedback loop type deal.
Mm-hmm. And something that I think a lot of Cal Poly coaches and also the management really emphasizes here at Cal Poly is that this is not a place where we want to just have athletes that are only focused on the field and really don't care about anything else, especially in the classroom. We have one of the best, GPAs in California and in the country. So that was something that he mentioned a little bit at the press conference, was a focus on, maintaining that culture at Cal Poly. And, we talked to so many athletes on this podcast, and that's something we hear again and again is we're not just athletes, we're student athletes, and this is, just a part of what we do. So I think he's going to be really focused on that. I don't think that's going to, change all that much. But yeah, it's good to know that part of Cal Poly, still being, a college as well as an athletics facility is staying steady.
Yeah, I think the press release that was given out was 93% graduation rate and a 3.25 GPA, which is
that's solid. Yeah.
Yeah, if that was the average of the entire student population, I think people would be like, that's a really good school. That's just the athletes that have that.
No, yeah, it's amazing, and I think that is really, indicative of the school as a whole. I mean, that is kind of a big part of our culture.
He's also coming from just one last note, I think, about the new athletic director. He's coming from Stanford, which it's a program with 36 Division I sports, 15 men's, 19 women's sports, and then 2 co-eds. So it's a very large athletic program that he's coming from. Cal Poly has 19 Division I sports here, with the addition of stunt over the summer. So definitely a smaller program, a little bit more, I feel like, hands-on for him. But I'm excited to see what can happen under his tenure.
Yeah. We'll have to just, obviously this is kind of a continuing news story, just breaking yesterday. But what are some things you'd like to see from him in terms of, his announcements, his moves for the programs? Because I feel like there's a lot of potential for this year, because we're in a cool spot where, programs are on the rise and funding is, getting there. It feels like we're kind of on the cusp of something that, could be really good for so many different programs. And I'm wondering what is needed to do, what we need to do to kind of get over that hump.
I mean, I think, for one, I think we need to raise money, obviously. We had the Players Trust, was it, that got announced kind of in the middle of spring last year, or even over the summer. I'm curious to see what he can do with that. Because, I mean, it's one thing to be, talk to us as students or us as alumni or whatever and be like, hey, we need money, to keep all these players, to get players in. But us as individuals only have so much money. Businesses have a lot of money. And one business that comes to mind is Jamba Juice, which was if you didn't know, senior project way back when from Cal Poly. And I've always been surprised to not really see like too much like cohesion between Cal Poly and Jamba Juice ever since. I mean, the first store is literally what, a mile that way?
Yeah, just about.
Maybe. Right? So I think like kind of getting out into local businesses and trying to get more, connections built there. I think that would be a good first step from him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the players do a lot of connecting with local businesses through the athlete lab.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm not too sure about how much connection the school and the athletic department does to connect with local businesses. But I mean, looking at this fall quarter and the sports we're playing right now with football, volleyball, men's soccer, women's soccer, all of them are playing really well. I mean, even football, who's kind of had a rough last couple of years, they're sitting at 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2.
Yeah,
they start Big Sky play tomorrow actually.
And Briscoe leads I believe he leads.
I think FCS.
Yeah, he leads FCS 7 touchdowns. Has like 450 yards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
which is near the top 2. I think it's like top 10.
And then men's soccer is on the climb. They're beginning conference play very soon.
I think October 1st, and that's first nationally televised game here. I think for the last 5 years, I want to say on ESPNU. So, yeah,
it might be longer. What?
I think it was 5 years. I want to say, but it's just big either way against UC Davis, and I think that's also a fun rivalry that's been brewing these last few years. But I mean, yeah, a lot of just good stuff.
Yeah,
coming up, a lot of great opportunities for a lot of programs.
I mean, he just steps in at kind of an exciting time. Like, I mean, it's a complicated time amidst the House settlement and the revenue sharing, but for our sports here, it's an exciting time. I mean, women's volleyball is coming off a Big West regular season title 2 years in a row. Or excuse me, no, just this last year, but they lost in the championship of the Big West twice. So they're coming for revenge this season.
And also, losing Hawaii in that conference for this upcoming year. So there's also a shift within the Big West as well, with Cal Baptist joining the conference next year. So, yeah, it's a lot of changes, but I think that's I think it's a good time for a change in athletic director. If it was going to happen, it was going to happen now. And I think they made the right decision in getting a little bit of a shift in leadership.
Yeah, and I also think something, too, talking about conference realignment, something that might be interesting, maybe not while we're still here or while anyone who's currently attending Cal Poly so, but maybe like 5 years down the line is like the new media rights deals are kind of clashing, so there's going to be possibly even more realignment coming in the future. So I'd be curious to see how, if he's still around, like how that gets navigated and all that.
I mean, luckily he's had, I think, a little bit of experience in that with Stanford.
Yeah, right. They're in the ACC now,
getting realigned. So, if that does come around, at least that's something that he's dealt with. And I'd rather have someone with a bit of experience in that rather than someone who's not just been stuck in the SEC for a little while.
Cal Poly did the Pac-12.
I mean, you never know. You never know. I mean, we are in the Pac-12 for one sport.
We are technically in the Pac-12. We are technically a Pac-12 member.
Wrestling.
Yeah,
yep.
Absolutely. What went up to Corvallis, got a few.
Yeah, a few more coming.
Yeah, exactly. Got a Pac-12 title. So
Sac State is joining the Big West starting 2026 in everything but football. So a lot of changes happening in the next coming years. Another sport Cal Poly is looking to potentially add is flag football. So,
no, I mean, I'd be looking forward to that. I mean, I'm super down to, just go to games because I know not everyone's into football all the time, but I think flag is just it's a cool way to kind of expand a little bit and get people to you might not like a contact sport, but you still
women's flag football.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to ask,
yeah.
Is it just women's flag football? Because I know that's been a recent high school sport too. It's women's flag football going concurrently with football, and then obviously we've had a real uptick in youth flag football too. So
yeah, it just gives a lot of opportunities, and I think that's just a super exciting thing to add. I'm glad there's that is being added around college sports now. I mean, because it's fun to watch. Like, I'm
Yeah,
not sure if you've seen
I was
any
gonna
on
say,
YouTube.
it is extremely fun to watch. I ref it for youth, and it's like some of the stuff that they do is crazy, and it's like, you know, fifth graders. Like, imagine what college athletes can do. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
You know, bro, just get out, run some routes, throw football down the field. I think that's a good time for anyone. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to add about Carter Henderson? It's a new time for Cal Poly athletics.
I think we said a lot about it, but I'll just add that, you know, I'm excited to see, you know, what he does and where he takes the program.
Yeah, basically same thing. I'm really excited to see what happens within this next school year. Just kind of what can he build in just a short time, and kind of where that goes in the future.
All right, so Carter Henderson officially stepping in as the athletic director for Cal Poly. Thank you for tuning into the Gallop. Once again, my name is Dylan Allen, Jonathan C., Matthew Muren, hosts of the Gallop. And stay tuned for some more episodes coming out in the next weeks. We're going to have a bunch of Cal Poly athletes joining us. And yeah, thank you.